let's talk about evictions.
Okay.
Which painstakingly, this is the hardest thing that a landlord probably has to face. So what are your takes on how should an eviction go in a perfect world, in a utopia of landlords are like the king? What is the ideal scenario?
I mean, here's the problem with evictions. It's so subjective. It's subjective of the landlord, the property, and the tenant. There's so many different factors involved.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what the ideal eviction is, you serve them the 5-day notice and then they just leave. I mean, that's the ideal.
Hopefully, yeah, right.
That's the ideal. Ideal is you get them.
Or they pay.
Yeah, or they pay.
Yeah.
But the ideal eviction is you serve them and they say okay and they
go.
What the first thing whenever I talk about evictions with a landlord, so I'm usually advising the landlord these situations. The first thing I usually advise them is having a very, very honest conversation about what you want to accomplish and the actual your focus as an investor on the cash flow for the property. The reason we start out at that point is I really, really don't like it when I see a landlord, when I see one of my clients that almost has a vendetta against the tenant. And they're willing to go to any extent to go after that tenant and go, we're losing sight of, you're an investor. We're here to make money. We're here for, you bought this as an investment. This person does not matter. What matters is getting them out so that you can clean up the unit and you can re-rent it. That's the important part, not you. They lied to you, whatever. Just you're going to have to. You as a landlord need to have a thick skin where you can just move.
Right.
You can separate yourself from that. Just whatever the tenants lie. Just move on from it. So after we get that past that point, then it becomes okay. Have you talked to the tenant? Have you just told them, look, you're a couple months behind, just go, just get out? Or, I've even told people, look, you can pay me the deposit to start the eviction.
Right.
Or go to the tenant and say, look, you're broke, whatever. Here, I'll pay $500 towards a mover if you'll get out Saturday.
Yep.
Will you do that? Just offer. And sometimes people say, no, screw them. I want to, It's like, all right, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
But really, you want them out as fast as possible, clean it up as fast as possible, and have yourself in a position where by the 1st of next month, you'll hopefully have a tenant back in there. That's the goal with every eviction, not going after the person. Then the next step becomes if they say, no, I want to go after him. Okay. Or the tenant just won't leave, which sometimes you get people that just won't.
Oh,
won't
there's
leave.
a ton of those.
They're holed up in there. Then there's the idea of two things, and you won't find this in a legal textbook, but the term of art we use is number one is a professional tenant. So a professional tenant is someone who knows all of the eviction laws better than you or even me sometimes. They know exactly what their rights are. They know exactly what they can do. They know exactly what to say to the judge and what to file at the court to make the eviction last as long as possible.
Which is why I believe landlords need to step up their game.
They need to step, I mean, there's a lot of times that we go into court and the landlord knows the landlord-tenant ordinance better than, or the tenant knows the landlord-tenant
which is scary,
better than the landlord. And that's when it's like, oh, we're in trouble here. So you need to make sure you don't run into any issues there of, do you really want to go into court because this person might know, what the deal is here. There's also certain ramifications, in Cook County, for example, the sheriff here is, won't serve an actual removal of the tenant if it gets below freezing during the wintertime. So sometimes we get an uptick of problems with tenants in, November, December, when they know, okay, I know I'm not going to get tossed out in January, February because the sheriff's not going to come, so I can buy myself this amount of time. So that's where we get the professional tenants. And you need to make sure, I'm a huge proponent of not taking security deposits. Now, even if you're not in Chicago, if you're up in Lake County or DuPage or whatever, you don't have the RLTO, the same they have in Chicago, where you have to worry about, if you have properties in Chicago, you have to worry about security deposits. You have to tell them what bank it's in, where it's located, give them their interest every month. Even with that, I'm not a huge fan of security deposits. I would rather my clients take a move-in fee.
I've seen that as even common. I'm actually moving right now, too.
Yeah.
And even a luxury apartment.
They
don't take security deposit at all. It's kind of interesting.
It's become a liability and a risk. Anytime you're having security deposits, because you run into, even practical, you run into the issue of, they don't want to pay rent for the last month and they want to apply the credit security deposit. Most landlords I found don't want to deal with that anymore. They just say, look, you're going to pay a set amount for a move-in fee, and that's it. You got to pay every month. I don't want to hear there's no, we're going to credit this for that, or what. Just this is how much it costs to move in, non-refundable. So don't ask me for this money back. And that kind of covers the cost for cleaning up the unit, turning it over. That
so advice, I guess, for the new landlords: don't settle for the last month rent for a security deposit.
I usually tell people, take the move-in application fee, non-refundable, and don't mess around with security. I hate the security because it only leads, from the lawyer perspective, it only ever complicates things. It only ever complicates things. So I prefer you don't have the security deposits. That's not in play. And then you have to, as a matter of practicality, sometimes you got to serve these people. Sometimes they're really hard to serve. You can't find these people. And then the other term of art is after you have the professional tenants that are really good at dodging service. They know exactly they can request a change of venue to a new judge, then delays you 30 days. They request a jury trial, so then it has to get transferred to another courtroom that buys them another 30 days.
Wow.
They drag the process out. Then you have the idea of judgment proof. And I didn't know this until I started practicing, because they don't teach you this in law school. So the idea is a judgment-proof defendant or a judgment-proof tenant. And I had an eviction one time, and the guy goes, well, my client's judgment-proof. Let's just dismiss this. And I said, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what is that?
What are you talking about? It's a tenant who is not only poor, but doesn't have a W-2 job where you can't garnish their wages. So it's someone who maybe makes cash, have a business where they make a lot of cash. So you can't, if you get a judgment against them, they probably already have other you already have other judgments against them.
How do you collect?
And they don't have a job where you can garnish their wages. And this attorney's just looking at me like, you can take your judgment and you can wipe your rear end with it. You're not going to get it. And she was moving out of state, that particular client. He's like, you're never going to get anything from this girl. So why are you wasting your time on this? So I usually tell people, if you're dealing with maybe C or D class buildings or neighborhoods, you need to be careful. Some of these tenants are, I would classify them as judgment proof, where we can go through the whole extent of going through the eviction, get the judgment, remove them, do all of it. And a lot of times when you're going through the eviction process, the majority of the time, at least with my cases, they end up leaving at some point. Because they're just trying to drag it out. So at some point during the case, they're going to leave. And then the client says, well, no, I still want the judgment. And we go, look, we're going to get the judgment, but we're not going to get anything.
It doesn't accomplish anything.
It's just a piece of paper. We're not going to get anything from these people. So as long as I get them out, that's and I want all the landlords and I want everyone to keep the mindset of, okay, you're doing this. You want the person. The end game is to get the person out. Not any of this other stuff. Just as long as we get them out, that's all I care about.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, because I see a lot of landlords, especially in our Facebook group. By the way, for those who don't know, we have a Facebook group for landlords. And Bob, that's honestly where I may have found you there. I don't know.
Was it? Okay.
I could have found you in our bigger group, which is the real estate investors. It's got like 120,000 people.
Probably on both.
Yeah, most likely. So this is something that I see all the time in the landlord group. They just love dragging out the process.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just like they won't serve the 5-day notice. For some states, it might be 3. I know Indiana's 3.
Yeah, that's some landlords for some reason are scared to give them the notice. And they'll come to me and they'll say, well, they haven't paid in 3 months. I'm like, well, did you serve the notice? Well, not yet. What are you waiting for?
Right, to serve it and let's have a talk right afterwards.
Just serve them. Why are you stalling? So, and I think they don't know what type of service or how to do it. It's a really simple form. You get it online. Just Google, 5-day notice, fill it out. I mean, if they're on month to month, it's a 5-day. If it's a year lease, then you give them the 30-day.
Right.
Just fill it out and put it on their door.
Yeah.
Just get it done. If you don't know which one to use, I say just use the 30-day one. If you're not going to be ever wrong using the 30-day.
Right.
You could be wrong using the 5-day, but you'll never be wrong using the 30-day. Just pick one, fill it out, and serve them with it so you can at least get the process started. But if you hold that, we can't do anything until you've done that.
Exactly.
So I feel like people are afraid for some reason to do it. Or, I feel like sometimes the landlords are almost afraid to approach the tenant. And I always, have you talked to them? Well, like, well, they know they're not paying you rent.
Yeah, right.
So go there and be like, look, you either have to pay me the rent or, can you be out by next weekend? Just give that, give them that option. Or I've even had situations where they can't get their stuff out, and the landlord's like, well, it's been like a month and they don't know, they can't get a place cleaned out. And I say, well, did you tell them that if they leave, we'll clean the rest of the stuff out? We'll know. And
Yeah.
then, you know, I said, give me the number to the tenant. I call the tenant. Can you be out by Saturday, take whatever you want to take, and the rest of the stuff we'll throw in the dumpster? I go, well, yeah, I can do that. Like, well, just tell them that.
Right.
Just get them out.
Right.
You know, I know it's going to cost money to clean it up. I know it's going to cost, you know, maybe my two priorities are, we want to get it re-rented, and we want them to do the least amount of damage possible too.
Right.
If you cause the other reason I hate the evictions is, you know, if you pull them out with the sheriff kicking and screaming, not only is the tenant going to do damage, the sheriff does a lot of damage going in there too.
Oh yeah, they kick the door. When
they get done, you're like, well, I guess I'm buying a new door.
All right,
like,
kick the door, $200. There you go.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess we got it done, but
right.
All right. So I mean, you want them to leave, even if they leave trash in there, you can clean trash. Yeah. But if they're pissed at you and they punch a bunch of holes in the drywall, or you know, they kick in the shower wall where now you got to redo the shower wall, or they break a couple appliances out the door. You know, I've had people rip the shower, you know, the sink faucet off. I had a person rip off the oven door. They could do crazy stuff going out the door, and it's like, well, now it's a couple more grand because. You know, maybe you could have gone home and said, "Look, here's $500. I'll have the mover come here. Yeah. I'll give the guy $500. Just get out. You know." And so I want everyone to keep that in mind.
It's just mainly the communication part.
It's so much
communication.
Because a lot of times either the landlord or the tenant, a lot of times, you know, the tenant will stop answering the door. You know, they don't want to communicate. So then in that case, you drop them a little note under the door. You text them and say, "Look, I understand that you got behind. You know, sometimes explain what the situation is. Yeah. Sometimes they can get caught up. I've had that too, where they go, look, at a death and family. I get that. We still got to pay rent. You know, just work with them, or just say, look, you're 3 months behind. Just go." Go. And a lot of times they will. If you say,
if you're nice to them.
Look, I don't want to have a problem. Can you please just get out of the unit so I can re-rent it? And they'll say, oh, you know, okay.
Yeah. And for those who are listening, and you guys hear me preach this all the time, we're actually in the development of a software which will automatically send out text emails to the tenant.
Oh, that's
So
great.
so the software will detect, hey, you know, they stop paying. So you get to decide when they're late. I mean, it could be the 10th day of the month, 5th day of the month.
Sure.
Right? Honestly, 5th day of the month is probably when I would say that's late. And then the software will automatically kick in. You know, you can customize these things, right? Emails, text messages, and then you can designate a day where it'll automatically generate the 5-day notice or 7-day notice for you. Just print it, serve it out. And later on, my dream is to work with a third-party servicing company where it just gets sent to them and they serve for small fee.
Just put on the door.
Yep, that's it. Everything's automated. So you know, that's what we're working on. So let's go ahead and dive into the next segment. As always, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening and you're like, this is amazing, well, you know, we'll leave Bob's information down below if you ever wanted to contact Bob. And so we'll do that. Hey, everybody, this is Sam Kwok here once again. Hope you enjoyed that little segment out of our Landlording Automated podcast. Now, if you want to listen to the entire episode, just head over down below where I left a link to go and access all of our full episodes, and you can listen to them via Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Again, that's down below. Go and check that out.